Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. Today, we're diving into a book that explains why our minds, as brilliant as they are pretty much designed to make predictable mistakes. So, how do we answer a question like that? Well, we turn to the groundbreaking work of Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman. His work really gets to the heart of a huge puzzle. If we're all so smart, why are our decisions so often, irrational? For a long time, the common idea was that humans are mostly rational actors, but Kahneman's work just completely shatters that idea. It shows that our errors in judgment aren't just random flukes. Nope, they're systematic, they're built right into the way our minds are wired. And what's so fascinating about this is that these aren't just random slip-ups. They're what he calls systematic biases, and they affect all of us in really predictable ways. It's like Kahneman is giving us a new language to spot and understand these mental glitches. To help us make sense of all this, Kahneman uses this brilliant metaphor. He asks us to imagine our mind as a sort of play, a psychodrama, with two very different characters taking the stage. So, first up, meet System 1. It's the fast, automatic, intuitive hero of our mental story. And then you've got System 2. This is the slow, effortful, analytical supporting character that, likes to think it's running the whole show. But here's the big secret Kahneman reveals. System 1 is the real star. It's constantly firing off suggestions, impressions, and gut feelings to System 2. And System 2, because it's a bit lazy, often just signs off on them without even a second thought. An even better way to picture this dynamic duo is to think of your mind like the cockpit of an airplane. System 1, that's your autopilot. It's a true master of efficiency, handling literally thousands of things you do every day, like driving on an empty road or understanding a simple sentence, all without you having to consciously think about it at all. And System 2, that's the pilot. The pilot's job is to monitor that autopilot and, grab the controls when things get complicated, like when you need to figure out a tip or navigate a tricky conversation. But here's the thing. Being the pilot is hard work. It burns a ton of mental energy, so it's always looking for an excuse to just kick back and let the autopilot take over again. Now, this whole division of labor is incredibly effective for just getting through the day. But our deep reliance on that quick and easy autopilot, that's exactly where those predictable glitches in our thinking start to pop up. Okay, let's put this to the test right now. I want you to imagine you're a doctor, and you have to think about the outcome of a new surgical procedure. All right, here's the first way to frame it. The 1-month survival rate is 90%. How does that feel? Pretty good, right? It sounds really reassuring. Now, what about this one? There is a 10% mortality rate in the first month. Whoa. Suddenly, that feels way more alarming, doesn't it? And yet, the statistical reality is exactly the same. Did you see what just happened there? Your intuitive System 1 had a completely different emotional reaction to the word survival versus the word mortality, even though the numbers are identical. This little mental glitch is called a framing effect, and it just goes to show how easily our choices can be swayed by the way information is presented to us. Okay, let's try another one. Here's a quick personality sketch of a guy named Steve. Now, what was your instant, gut-level answer? Just go with your very first thought. I'm going to bet for most of you it was librarian. And that's because Steve's description is a perfect match for our cultural stereotype of a librarian, right? Your System 1 immediately jumps on this resemblance. It uses a mental shortcut that Kahneman calls the representativeness heuristic. Basically, it swaps a really hard question of probability for a much easier question of similarity. But, and this is a big but, this totally ignores a critical piece of information. In the United States, there are more than 20 male farmers for every single male librarian. So statistically, it's overwhelmingly more likely that Steve is a farmer. But our autopilot? It just doesn't care about the stats. See, all of these glitches are driven by this one central principle of System 1, which Kahneman gives this brilliant name, YCAIT. It stands for what you see is all there is. Our autopilot constructs the most coherent story it can, but it only uses the information right in front of it. It never stops to ask, hey, what crucial information might I be missing here? So the huge takeaway here isn't that our brains are broken or anything. Not at all. It's just that they have a very specific two-system design. And that design is optimized for speed and efficiency, not for perfect logical accuracy. And once you really grasp this two-system design, I promise you're going to start seeing it everywhere. You'll notice how advertising uses framing to make products seem better, or how news stories use dramatic events to shape how we think about risk. These systems are often designed on purpose to bypass our critical thinking and appeal directly to our fast, impulsive, and totally glitch-prone System 1. And that really is the ultimate gift Kahneman offers us, a richer, more precise way to talk about thinking itself. By understanding the machinery inside our own heads, we can become better, more informed critics of judgment and choice, not just in the world around us, but maybe most importantly, within ourselves. For the full, long-form deep dive into this book and its ideas, follow the link in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.